जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रजजन रञ्जना। यशोदनन्दन व्रजजन रञ्जना। यमुनातीरावनचारी। यमुनातीरावनचारी। जय राधमाधवा कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रजजन रञ्जना। यमुनातीरावनचारी। यमुनातीरावनचारी। जय राधमाधवा कुंज विहारी। जय राधमाधवा कुंज विहारी। जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा। कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा। जय दामोदरा जय दामोदरा। दामोदरा जय दामोदरा। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस हे श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री गौरनिताय की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 6, Text number 18. Rupam Bhagavataha Yat Tat Rupam Bhagavato Yattan Rupam Bhagavato Yattan Manaha Kantam Shucha Apaham Apasyan Sah Manakantam Shuchapaham Manakantam Shuchapaham Apasyan Sahasa Uttasthe Apasyan Sahasotasthe Apasyan Sahasotasthe Vaiklavyat Durmana Iva Vaiklavyat Durmana Iva Vaiklavyat Durmana Iva Rupam Bhagavato Yattan Manakantam Shuchapaham Apasyan Sahasotasthe Vaiklavya Durmana Iva Rupam Bhagavato Yattan Manakantam Shuchapaham Apasyan Sahasotasthe Vaiklavya Durmana Iva. Matajis. Rupam, form, Bhagavataha, of the personality of Godhead. Yat, as it is. Tat, that. Manaha, of the mind. Kantam, as it desires. Shucha apaham, vanishing all disparity. Apasyan, without seeing. Sahasa, all of a sudden. Uttasthe, got up. Vaiklavyat, being perturbed. Durmanaha, having lost the desirable. Iva, as it were. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The transcendental form of the Lord as it is satisfies the mind's desire and at once erases all mental incongruities. Upon losing that form, I suddenly got up, being perturbed, as is usual when one loses that which is desirable. Kindly repeat. The transcendental form of the Lord as it is satisfies the mind's desire and at once erases all mental incongruities. Upon losing that form, I suddenly got up, being perturbed, as is usual when one loses that which is desirable. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. That the Lord is not formless is experienced by Narada Muni, but his form is completely different from all forms of our material experience. For the whole duration of our life, we go see different forms in the material world, but none of them is just apt to satisfy the mind, nor can any one of them banish all perturbance of the mind. These are the special features of the transcendental form of the Lord, and one who has once seen that form is not satisfied with anything else. No form in the material world can any longer satisfy the seer. That the Lord is formless or impersonal means that he has nothing like a material form and is not like any material personality. As spiritual beings having eternal relations with that transcendental form of the Lord, we are, life after life, searching after that form of the Lord, and we are not satisfied by any other form of material appeasement. Narada Muni got a glimpse of this, but having not seen it again, he became perturbed and stood up all of a sudden to search it out. What we desired life after life was obtained by Narada Muni, and losing sight of him again was certainly a great shock for him. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prayashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenataranam. 500 years ago, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was present on this planet, he, after taking sannyas at the age of 24 years, he made his residence in Jagannath Puri. And the initial 6 years of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's stay in Jagannath Puri from 1510 AD onwards, the initial 6 years up to 1516 AD, Mahaprabhu spent a lot of time traveling. He came to South India for almost, I think, about 2 years. Then he went to Vrindavan, he went to Prayag, Varanasi, etc. 6 years were spent like this. Balance 18 years, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent in Puri only. And after that, Mahaprabhu wound up his pastimes. During Mahaprabhu's visit to travel to South India, Mahaprabhu came to Andhra. He visited Ahobilam and Tirupati, etc. He also visited Karnataka and many places, Udupi, and even there is this Murudeshwara, I think, Murudeshwara or Mallikarjuna Kshetra. One of them he visited. Then he came to Tamil Nadu also. And he went to Kerala also. Practically the entire South India Mahaprabhu covered. When Mahaprabhu came to Tamil Nadu, he probably he visited the maximum number of temples in Tamil Nadu. He came to Kanchipuram. He stayed there 2 days. Then he traveled to Tirukazhkundram. There is a Shiva temple there. And from there he went to Kadalur, Sirgaji. There also Shiva temples. Vriddachalam Shiva temple. And Brihadishwara temple he visited. Again Shiva temple. And like this, Kumbakonam and many other places he visited. And Srirangam, of course, he stayed for 4 months because it was Chaturmasa time. Then Mahaprabhu, then after a few places, Mahaprabhu came to Madurai. Of course, the sequence is not known exactly in what sequence Mahaprabhu went, because Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Das Kaviraj himself says that what happened was, Mahaprabhu, when he came on the South India tour, he was accompanied by one Brahmana. And after Mahaprabhu, after 2 years, he came back to Jagannath Puri. That Brahmana related everything to Swarup Damodar. And Swarup Damodar noted it down in his diary. And Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami consulted that diary and wrote the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So you can imagine, after 2 years, when somebody is coming and narrating where all we went, and somebody is writing down, after that, after several years, somebody is then taking that diary and making a scripture out of that. So it's natural that Shri Krishna Rukmini Satyabhama ki jai, Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai, Shri Gaurnitai ki jai. So it's natural that Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami himself says, I don't know the exact sequence, but left, right and center, Mahaprabhu went visited all the temples. When Mahaprabhu came to Madurai, he visited Madurai. Madurai, of course, the most prominent temple is Meenakshi temple, and then there is Kallaragar temple, there is Narasimha, Yoga Narasimha temple in Narsimpatti. These are the primary things. We should expect that Mahaprabhu must have visited all of them. Of course, there is no reference of Mahaprabhu visiting the Narasimha temple. But later somewhere he mentions, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami mentions, that Mahaprabhu visited Gajendra Moksha Kshetra. And it's Prabhupada also tells in the purport that it's not clear which place this mentions. And but then, if you go to Narsimpatti, they will tell there is one pond outside the temple. They say that this is where Gajendra Moksha happened. Probably Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited that temple, and that is referred to as Gajendra Moksha. Maybe, we don't know. Anyway, when Mahaprabhu, normally wherever Mahaprabhu would go, it was a practice that during those times especially, any sannyasi visits any place, any village, city, town, whatever it is, the local people who would be there, they would invite that sannyasi to take bhiksha at their home, meaning they would provide him residence and food and all that. And Mahaprabhu was very particular to accept invitation only from Vaishnava Brahmanas. He would not even accept an invitation from a Brahmana, even if he was a Brahmana, if he belonged to a Mayavadi Sampradaya. If he belonged to Shankara Sampradaya, he would not accept an invitation. And why Brahmana? Because Brahmana means every Brahmana's house, those times there used to be Shaligrama Shila, so Mahaprabhu could get prasadam. And Vaishnava, he has to be a Vaishnava. This was Mahaprabhu's this one. When he came to Madurai, one Brahmana happened to meet him, and Mahaprabhu took a bath in the Vaigai river also. And then one Brahmana who was there, who invited him for bhiksha. And this Brahmana was a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra. You know, even today, if you come to South India, there are many Rama temples, especially in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. So this Brahmana, probably he was a Sri Vaishnava, and he was a very great devotee of Lord Ramachandra. He invited Mahaprabhu home. Mahaprabhu also accepted. And Mahaprabhu went to his home, and then that was, I think, evening he went to his home. Next day morning, Mahaprabhu got up, went to the Vaigai river, had his bath. He must have gone to the temple also for darshan, and he came back. And time became 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Mahaprabhu is also waiting. This Brahmana is not doing anything. He is simply sitting in one corner. Then 12 o'clock became 1 o'clock. Then Mahaprabhu asked him, "Are you not cooking anything?" And this Brahmana replied that Lakshmana has gone to pick up the roots. So he has to come back. Only after he comes back, Sita Maya will cook. And it's not easy to get all these roots and vegetables in the forest. So when Mahaprabhu heard this, he understood this Brahmana was totally immersed in Lord Ramachandra's pastimes, and he was very happy to hear that. And then 1 o'clock became 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock became 3 o'clock. Finally, suddenly the Brahmana got up and hurriedly he cooked something and offered it to his deity or his Shaligrama Shila, whatever, and Mahaprabhu had the prasadam. After Mahaprabhu had prasadam, he was seeing that this Brahmana was sitting in one corner and crying. Mahaprabhu asked him, "Why you are not taking prasadam?" So this Brahmana replied, I don't know how that Ravana could catch Sita Maya. How could he touch Sita Maya? And he has kidnapped Sita Maya. And remembering this, my whole body is burning. And I want to give up my life, but somehow my life is not leaving my body. And I am terribly in great disappointment because of this, sadness because of this. And I'm not able to tolerate this. I'm going to go and jump into the river. I'm going to give up my life. Then Mahaprabhu preached to him some philosophy and all those things. And somehow Mahaprabhu managed to pacify him. And then after that, Mahaprabhu went further down south and he visited various places. And then Mahaprabhu came to Rameshwara. And of course, from there, Mahaprabhu, Rameshwaram, he went to Dhanushkodi also. And from there, he came back. Either when he reached Rameshwaram or when he came back, he saw a group of Brahmanas sitting there and reciting Kurma Purana. And Mahaprabhu immediately sat down and started hearing the Kurma Purana. During the recitation of the Kurma Purana, there were two verses which Mahaprabhu came across. So these two verses, what they said was, Sita yaradito vahnis, chaya sitam ajijanat. Tam jahara dasagrivaha, Sita vahnipurim gata. Pariksha samaye vahnim, chaya sita viveshasa. Vahnihi Sita maniya tatpurastad aninayat. So these two verses of the Kurma Purana, what they state is that Sitaya aradito vahnihi. Sitaya aradito vahnihi. Sita worshipped Agni Deva, the Lord of the fire. And the Lord of the fire appeared before her. And what did he do? He brought a Chaya Sita, a shadow form of Sita Maya, a material form of Sita Maya, left her there in that ashram. And he took Sita Maya to his abode, to Vahnipuri, to the abode of Vahni. It is also stated that from there Sita was taken to Kailasa and she stayed with Parvati. This is also there. And then Tam Jahara Dasagriva, the 10-headed Ravana, he, thinking that this is Sita, he took the Chaya Sita and he went. And then Pariksha Samay, during the Agni Pariksha, at that time, Chaya Sita Viveshasa, she entered the fire which was created for testing Sita. The Chaya Sita entered that. And Vahni Sitam Samaniya Tatpurastad. In front of Lord Ramachandra, Agni Deva brought Sita Devi Aninayat and he handed her back to Lord Ramachandra. When Mahaprabhu heard this, he was extremely happy. He immediately got someone to copy down those two verses. Normally in those days, there was no Xerox machine. There was no mobile phone with which you could scan any document. The system used to be, every religious place, every Tirtha Sthala, every holy place of pilgrimage, there would always be some Brahmanas sitting and reciting some Puranas or Itihasas, Mahabharata, Ramayana, etc. So that people who are coming on pilgrimage, they could sit and hear. Not everybody may be well versed in Sanskrit. They may not have the time to read all the Puranas, Mahabharata, Ramayana, etc. But when they come on pilgrimage, anyway, they are free. They can sit down and they can hear these Brahmanas reciting. So that way, everybody, all the common man also gets a benefit. And practically, Sanskrit was commonly spoken language throughout the country. Just like today, English is a commonly spoken language throughout India. Otherwise, if you see, India, every state has a different language. Mahaprabhu is coming from Bengal and he is coming to Tamil Nadu. How will he converse with all the people there? They have to know Sanskrit. That was the lingua franca. That is the common language which was spoken throughout the country. Even common men also knew. So, this, whenever they go on pilgrimage, they sit and hear the Brahmanas, they will get the benefit of hearing the pastimes of the Lord. This used to be the system. And somebody wants a copy of the scripture. Somebody wants to take a copy of Ramayana. Somebody wants to take a copy of some Purana, Padma Purana, Vishnu Purana, whatever. There would be other Brahmanas who would be there whose only work was to keep making copies of these scriptures, and anybody wants, they can go and pay them some fee and purchase it and go. So this used to be the system. So there is a livelihood for everyone. Everyone is taken care. And there were no big publishing houses. There were no books and all that. These were all handwritten palm leaf manuscripts. Mahaprabhu engaged one of these Brahmanas there like that, and they wrote down these 2 verses, and Mahaprabhu carried with him, and he came back to Madurai. And when he came to Madurai, he came to that same Brahmana, whose name was Ramadasa Vipra. He came to him and he showed him these 2 verses. When this Ramadasa Vipra read this, he was beside himself with tears, and he immediately fell at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, and he said, "You are Swayam Ramachandra himself, you have saved my life. And so that day I could not cook for you because I was mentally very disturbed. Now I am very peaceful, knowing that Ravana could not touch Sita Maya. So therefore you please come to my house today, and I want to cook a proper prasadam for you." Mahaprabhu also accepted, and that Brahmana, Ramadasa Vipra, in great joy, he cooked a big feast for Mahaprabhu and he fed him. So in this way, this Ramadasa Vipra, his great melancholy was solved. His great distress, anxiety was solved. So actually, Mahaprabhu explained the philosophy to Ramadasa Vipra in the beginning. And when Mahaprabhu showed him those 2 verses, he said, "See, I told you, no, this is the fact." So what was it that what was the philosophy Mahaprabhu had explained to him? Mahaprabhu had told him that anything which is spiritual, it cannot be captured by something material. And Sita, being totally spiritual, how can she be seen by Ravana? Forget about touching her. It is impossible. In fact, the reality we have to understand is we cannot even see ourselves. We may look at ourselves in the mirror, and what we see in the mirror is our body. And we never actually see ourselves. We always think that the body is me. When we are a small child, we look at ourselves in the mirror and we think, I'm a child. When we grow up into a youth, we look at ourselves in the mirror and we think I'm a youth. And when we grow old, we look at ourselves in the mirror and we think I become old. So what am I? Am I the child? Am I the young person? Am I the old person? What am I? All these are the body. I am none of these things. And when a person dies, what do we say? This person has left and gone. In fact, this is a fact which is realizable even by an atheist. Some time back, there was one big atheist politician who died, and in Tamil Nadu. And there is one political party which is again atheistic. And the leader of that party came, and he was crying when at the dead body of the person. And then he issued a statement. He was such a great person and all those kind of things. And now he has departed. He has left behind a big void. So departed. What is this departed? Who departed? What departed? You are an atheist. You don't believe that soul exists. You don't believe in God. But you are thinking this body, this consciousness, this living entity inside the body is all some chemical interaction. And living entity means he is the body. Body is lying there only. What is there to depart? But still, even an atheist understands when a person dies, somebody was there in the body who has left. Now, body is lying here, but the person has left. So this is easily understandable even to a child, even to an atheist, even he can understand. Because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mrityu sarva haraschaham. For an atheist can recognize that God exists only when death comes. Otherwise, he will never accept because of his foolish ignorance. So you see, the soul who is in the body, we are never able to see. We can recognize when a person dies that, okay, the person has gone. So the body is lying there. Whole life you have been calling that body, that person, but at the point of death, the person left. So who is that person who left? Have you seen him? Throughout his life, you have never seen him. You have never seen even yourself. This is the fact. So you see, with our material eyes, we cannot see something which is spiritual. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had mentioned. Therefore, Ravana being totally in the bodily concept of life, there is no way he could have even seen Sita forget about catching her hand and taking her off, abducting her. So it was the Chaya Sita whom Ravana took, whom Ravana abducted. So this fact that spirit cannot be perceived by material eyes is explained everywhere in the Vedic scriptures. And that is why the Vedic scriptures state that the Supreme Lord has no form, he is formless. Why? He is amurtikam, he does not have a form. Why? Because as the Katha Upanishad states, Nahi sandrishet tishtati rupamasya na chakshusha pasyati kaschanainam hrida manisha manasa viklapto ya etad vidur amritaste bhavanti. So the Katha Upanishad makes a similar statement. Nahi sandrishe tishtati rupamasya. The form tasya of that Supreme Lord cannot be perceived by our eyes. We cannot, that form itself cannot be perceived. And na chakshusha pasyati kaschanainam. No one has seen with his eyes the Supreme Lord. But then there are people who have seen the Supreme Lord, as in today's verse Narada Muni is stating, Rupam Bhagavato yattat manakkantam shuchapaham apasyan. That transcendental form of the Lord, upon losing that form, I suddenly got up. So you see, Bhagavato Rupam apasyan. Until that point of time, Narada Muni, as a small child, he was sitting and meditating in Samadhi, and he happened to see the form of the Supreme Lord, Paramatma within the heart. And suddenly the form of Paramatma disappeared. So you see, great yogis who are following Ashtanga Yoga, the path of Patanjali, when they come to the point of Samadhi, they are able to perceive, they are able to see the form of the Lord within the heart. They are not able to see with their eyes, but they are able to see within their heart. Hrida manisha manasabhiklipta. That is what Katha Upanishad also says. Na chakshusha pasyati. No one has seen him with their material eyes, but Hrida manisha manasabhiklipto. But Hrida, within the heart, Manisha, those who are highly intelligent people, Abhikliptaha, his form is captured, his form is revealed, his form is realized by their manasa, by their purified minds. Ya etad vidur, one who knows this, one who understands this, amritaste bhavanti, they will never have to take birth again within this material world. So what is the Katha Upanishad saying? Even if you understand that the form of the Lord is not something which is capturable by your material eyes, but the form of the Lord is transcendental and can be seen within the heart. If you have purified your senses and intelligence, then just by knowing this, you can become liberated. Which conforms to what Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita. What does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita in the 4th chapter? Krishna says that those who know that the birth and activities of Krishna, Janma karma cha me divyam yo janati, one who simply knows that Krishna's form and Krishna's birth and activities are divyam, transcendental, they are not ordinary, then such a person, janma karma chame divyam yevam yo veti tyaktva deham punarjanmana iti mameti so Arjuna. Then such a person, simply by knowing this, understanding this much, that Krishna's form and activities are transcendental, that person doesn't have to take birth again. He will attain Krishna's supreme abode. Which is what Katha Upanishad is also stating. Ye ye tad vidur amritaste bhavanti. So you see, the form of Krishna, although the Vedic scriptures are stating the supreme personality of Godhead, the absolute truth is, does not have a form. What it means is that he does not have a form which can be perceived by our material eyes, but that form can be revealed in the heart to a person who is eligible. There is another similar verse in the Katha Upanishad. Nayam atma pravachanena labhyo namedhya nabhuna shrutena va. You cannot perceive or you cannot understand, you cannot capture the absolute truth. Nayam atma, the supreme absolute truth, pravachanena labhyo, by a person who is a great orator, he cannot realize the form of the Lord. Namedhaya, one who is very intelligent, extremely sharply intelligent person, just because he is intelligent, he cannot understand and realize the absolute truth. Bahuna Shrutenama, by reading all the Vedic scriptures, by reading all the Upanishads, by reading all the Puranas, by reading all the Vedanta Sutras, one cannot realize the absolute truth. Yamevaisha vrunute tena labhyas tasyaisha vivrudute tanum swam. So, Tanum Swam, his own form, when that Supreme Lord, Vivrunute, when he reveals, then such a person, Vrunute, then such a person can perceive the form of the Supreme Lord. So, this very word is used, Tanum Swam. That form of the Lord, when he himself reveals, then we can perceive. Otherwise, you cannot perceive. And that is why, for Narada Muni also, when he meditated within his heart, the Lord revealed himself. And then what happened? After revealing himself for a short span of time, Bhagavato Rupam Yattat Manakkantam, that form of the Lord was very captivating. Manakkantam. It satisfies the mind's desire. That form of the Lord, you see, this is very significant. That form of the Lord, if somebody has seen, it satisfies the mind completely. And if we are satisfied, we will not want or hanker for that object anymore. For example, when we are hungry, yesterday we had a wonderful Govardhana Sharanotsavam festival, and we started at about 5:30 and it went on till about 8:30, 3 hours. By the end of it, everybody was hungry, isn't it? Don't tell me you are not hungry. So all of you went and had nice prasadam, right? And after the prasadam you ate, hunger was satisfied. After that, you don't want to eat anything more. Nobody wanted that after eating the prasadam, stomach is full. Now let us go to some restaurant, let us go here, there. No such desire. You are fully satisfied. Once you are satisfied, you don't want that object anymore. So in this material world, as Prabhupada is saying in the purport, that for the whole duration of our life, we go see different forms in the material world, but none of them is just apt to satisfy the mind, nor can any one of them vanish all perturbance of the mind. This is so true. In this material world, all of us are searching out to see beautiful forms. Somebody goes to some vacation place, he goes to Seychelles, he goes to Switzerland. Why? To see beautiful landscapes. And after seeing that, does he become fully satisfied? No. This year I went to Switzerland. Next year I want to go to Niagara Falls. The next year I want to go to somewhere else. You are not satisfied. You want to see something new, something new, something new. Your mind is hankering after seeing a beautiful form. Somebody else goes to the beauty pageant. Year after year, newer and newer Miss Universes are selected. And every year you see the beautiful form, you feel happy. But next year you want a new form. Same old people you bring and stand, no. It's become old. Throw it aside. I want a new form. Why? Mind is not satisfied. You look at movies, why people go to the movies to see beautiful hero and heroine. And every movie you want a new hero, new heroine. Few years they keep seeing the same hero, heroine. After that, ho gaya, time ho gaya. You want a new person, some new star will come up. So whole life we are searching after beautiful forms. And we keep seeing beautiful forms in the material world, but our heart is not satisfied. Why? Because we are actually searching after the form of Krishna. Only when we see Krishna, our heart will become fully satisfied. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yam labdva chaparam labham manyate nadhigam tataha. Once we see the form of Krishna, then no other form will appeal to us. We'll see, I've seen the highest beauty. No other beauty will appeal to us. Once we see God's, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right in front of our eyes, after that, no other beauty will appeal to us. This is the reality. One will be captivated by that bewitching, smiling face, lotus face of Krishna, which is more beautiful than millions of cupids combined together. And so therefore, Narada Muni is stating here, Manakantam, it satisfies the mind's desire. Mind's desire for what? To see beautiful forms. And Shuchapaham, all mental incongruities are removed. Shucha apaham, all Shucha is removed. Krishna tells this very same thing in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshesyami ma shuchaha. So if he surrendered to Krishna and see his form, no more shucha, no more distress within this material world. So Narada Muni saw that form of the Supreme Lord, which is very pleasing to the heart and which removes all the material distresses. And that is why Krishna says again in the Bhagavad Gita, he says that Yam lodva chaparam labdham manyate nadikam tataha. Once you see that form of Krishna, you don't want anything else. Not only that, na dukkhena guruna api vichalyate. Even the greatest distress will not agitate or disturb us. And that is why he is saying here, Shucha apaham. All mental incongruities, all distresses vanish once you have seen that form of the Lord. But interestingly, although Narada Muni was perceiving that beautiful, captivating, completely satisfying form of the Lord, and he had forgotten everything else, no other material desire, no other material distress, nothing is there which is disturbing his mind. But still, suddenly, apashyan, that form of the Lord disappeared. Why? How? Because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Naham prakasah sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha. Krishna is not seen by people, by anybody and everybody in this material world. Mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mam ajamavyayam. This material world, people who are ignorant of the true position of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna retains the right not to reveal himself. Naham prakasaha, Krishna says he will not reveal himself. Yogamaya samavrataha, he is covered by Yogamaya. So Krishna decides, the Supreme Lord decides whom he has to reveal himself to and whom he doesn't want to reveal himself to. The Supreme Lord, if somebody is not a devotee of the Supreme Lord, he has full right not to reveal himself. That is why an atheist, he will never accept the Lord, but at the time of death, he has to accept the Supreme Lord. So for him, the Lord reveals himself in the form of death. And for the theist, you come to the temple, there is a beautiful form of Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama. You look at the lotus feet of the Lord, and your heart's desire to see all beautiful forms is completely satisfied. So, when the Vedic scriptures state that there is no murti, there is no form of the Lord, an atheist takes it that the Lord is formless. An unintelligent, ignorant person takes it that the Lord is impersonal. And therefore, his desires, his mind can never be satisfied. But for a devotee, the Lord takes a form of the Archa Vigraha of the deity in the temple, and when that devotee comes in front of the Lord, he says, "Oh, Krishna is Swayam, he is standing here." Atheists cannot understand this, and impersonalists cannot understand this. Impersonalists will say, God is everywhere, why do you have to go to the temple? If God is there everywhere, then why God is not in the temple? You are defeating your own logic, you are shooting yourself in the foot. And they will say, no, God doesn't have a form. God doesn't have a form which you cannot see. But where is it stated that in the temple, in the form of the deity, God is not there? That is not stated. So what is stated in the Agama scriptures is that if there is a particular form of the Lord, in this way, in this proportion, you have to make the Archa Vigraha, and in this way, if you do the Prana Pratishtha and worship, the Lord is personally present there. So when we worship Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama, we worship Gaur Nitai, we worship Krishna Balaram, we worship Prabhupada deities in the temple, they are actually present there. They are revealing their form to the devotees' eyes. And that is why you see, although temples are there, innumerable temples are there in this country, still the atheists and the impersonalists cannot perceive that the Lord is there. Aham prakashahas yogamaya samavritaha. Only the devotees who go to the temple, they will be able to see, oh, God is here, Krishna is here. So although the Lord is personally standing there, the impersonalists and the atheists cannot see him. Because the Lord reserves the right to reveal himself. And so therefore, the Lord, Krishna, revealed himself within the heart of Narada Muni, and then apashyan, suddenly he disappeared from his heart. Sahasa apashyan uttaste. And when Narada Muni suddenly in his heart he was seeing the form of the Lord, relishing, absorbed in that beauty of Krishna, and completely having forgotten all his material problems and material position and everything else he has forgotten, and he is completely absorbed in that bliss of seeing the form of the Lord. Suddenly the Lord disappeared. Because of that, Vaiklavya Durmana Iva. He got up being perturbed, and that is natural, because when you possess something which is very dear to you and you lose it, you will become agitated, you will become disturbed. Similarly, Narada Muni became disturbed, and Uttaste, immediately he got up. So why did the Lord disappear? Why did he first reveal himself to Narada Muni, and why did he suddenly disappear? That we will see in the next verse, in the next class. So we'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.